back to the Gold Rush Podcast. My name is Spencer Kane. That is my co-host, Noah McMinn. Sorry for the little mini hiatus, but we're back. Noah got married in that time. I was out of town, out of the country. Look at that. Flash the bling. Flash the bling.
She put a ring on it.
She put a ring on it. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. I got to go up there to Ohio and hang out with my buddy for the wedding weekend. Played a lot of golf. Got this guy married and hitched and sent him off to Aruba. It was great.
Yes, sir.
But we're back. Notre Dame football is in full swing, man. We're halfway through the season. It seems that we've rebounded nicely after the first two L's that we sadly had to take and endure. And as depressing as this season has felt at times, it has also been full of hope and energy and optimism for many different reasons. So I think we'll just kind of kick it off into some of our mid-season thoughts. We're 4-2, coming off a really great dominant win against NC State, off a really strong stretch of wins against, Purdue, Boise State, Arkansas, and then as of late, NC State. And I saw an interesting stat to kind of kick us off into this midseason thought. The last two games, Boise State and NC State, we have given up 2 defensive possessions where they got past our own 30. We have not let them cross our own 30 twice. In the NC State game, 2 times did they pass. Or no, they did not. They only passed the 47 once.
Yeah.
Insane turnaround from our defense. And, a lot of people are going to criticize Chris Ash from the first 2 games, rightfully so. We were talking earlier today. We're not too sure how much flack he had to take on the Miami game specifically. That was just a tough environment, and it would have been tough regardless. But that A&M game was pretty pitiful. And then even the first half of the Purdue game, you were like, hey, man, do we need to, hit the emergency switch? But it seems like he's turned it around. The stats don't lie. Boise State, Arkansas, NC State all have potent offenses that, given the right type of competition, can definitely light you up. And they've asserted their dominance. So I'll give Ash his flowers when he needs it, but it also needs some criticism after the rough start. So how are you feeling mid-season, as it seems like we can have a little bit of optimism going into this USC game, but it's still pretty concerning on some levels?
Yeah, I think like we kind of said it a few times this year. We're like going into the Purdue game, we were like, we got to have things figured out. Going to the Arkansas game, we were kind of like, we got to have things figured out. And it seemed that way. Obviously, this USC team is going to be a much bigger challenge for the defense. Yeah. We're going to get to see what's going on, especially because this USC team is not much different offensively than the USC team that gave us fits last year with, quote unquote, a better defense. There's not a whole lot of changes minus Xavier Watts, and I'm not saying we've replaced him with Tay Johnson, but he's looking good. Adon Schuler's doing his thing. Our DBs are looking okay. I think Devontae Smith is back this week, so that'll be good for our team, having him in the slot. That'll be nice.
Mm-hmm. Although I like Golden. He gave up the touchtown, but I mean, he's
just so young, man.
He's an inch away from deflecting that ball, and we're talking about what a great rep it was. So
it's just tough. Tough to see it because he's had, like, the freshmen we keep trying to throw out there, they scare me. They scare me a lot. Well, not all freshmen, but young guys. Golden himself gave up the big one, and then later in the game made up for it. But it's so scary because I just can see I can see it happening this weekend where he's in the slot and Lemon motions in, and for whatever reason, Leonard Moore can't travel with him, and it's just going to be picking Golden apart with Lemon, and it's just not going to be it's not going to be an advantageous spot to put a freshman in. I don't think athletically Devontae Smith is head and shoulders better than him, but I think he'll be able to handle the moment a lot better.
Yeah,
and like you were saying with Ash, we're going to see a lot. He's kind of turned it around, and we were talking earlier today. It's obviously the woes were not all Ash's fault. You could theoretically call zone coverage every play, and if your players run it perfectly, you're going to have success. I mean, our defense was not up to snuff. Our defensive line wasn't getting pressure. When our backers blitzed, they were getting picked up, and our DBs weren't giving our line and backers enough time to get to the quarterback. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's not all on Ash. I think there's obviously, and anytime a team has issues, it's going to fall back on the coach. They weren't ready
Yeah.
for a reason. What that reason was, who knows? It seems to be turned around. We tore up a tore up an Arkansas team defensively that has hung with both Ole Miss, who's a top 5 team in the country, and Tennessee, who is I think 11th in the
Top,
country,
yeah,
right?
top 15. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, both those games were a one possession game late. I mean, not
Yeah.
just like it wasn't like a fluke thing that happened. It was a chance to win both those games. And obviously Arkansas is just not the better team, so that's not the way that falls a lot of times, but
But it's not. It was not a game. There was at no point was that a game. It was a game halfway through the first quarter, and
correct.
then we kind of pulled away. Our offense never stopped clicking, and then they just kind of overwhelmed them. But I think something that has been telling, and at least from watching from the TV and from you being at a couple games this year, I think the perspective has been, at the beginning of the season, what our havoc and chaos that we're used to this defense creating, even in moments where they got tore up last year, you would be at least able to hang your hat on the fact that it's like we're making the quarterback uncomfortable. USC converted a lot because the coverage just was messing up in a lot of time last year, but we still sacked Maeva. We still got him uncomfortable, and we still rushed him out of the pocket. There were still a lot of possessions that we stopped them on. They just kicked it up in the back half, and our offense couldn't keep putting up points. And so I think there was this effort that a lot of the fans that were just kind of disappointed in this first half of the season, where it was like, you know what, we're not getting to the quarterback. And I don't know if that was a scheme thing or if it was the amount of people we were just sending to the quarterback or if it was a play thing. But in today's or yesterday's press conference, Chris Ash has been asked about it, the turnaround. He's like, hey, I don't remember who was asking the question. He got asked about 2 or 3 times. What did you see change in this defensive side of the ball that has helped create more pressure or create, different looks and more turnovers in the back half of the season? He was very adamant on answering with the fact that they haven't changed what they've been calling. They've been calling the same thing since game one. The
And
guys are
that's
just
accurate.
adjusting and executing. And I don't think that's wrong either.
No, yeah,
But
that's
what I
accurate.
do think he's not given enough credit to is like it does feel like we are blitzing a little bit more. Like I feel like we're sending a few more middle linebackers. I feel like we're sending a couple more stunts and twists. Like I feel like we're doing a little bit more to create at least numbers in the box rather than like, I know we're sending the same 4 we did for week 1. They're just getting the quarterback now. And maybe that is true to an extent, but it does feel like something shifted. It does feel like guys are playing a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. And maybe that is just because they're comfortable with what the play calls are. Maybe they're comfortable with the scheme and the playbook. Because, when you're confident in what you're supposed to do on a play, you're going to play a lot quicker. If you're questioning where you're supposed to be on the field, then you're going to play a lot slower because you're thinking about multiple things at once. So I, I'm curious to see if it was a drop in talent helped the guys figure it out. But you know what? At the same time, all of these top 10, top 15 teams that are around Notre Dame did not have to play 2 top 5 teams game 1 and game 2. They got to figure this out against FCS teams, low power 4, low power group of 5 teams. And they got to figure out some of these communication things, regardless of whether or not the competition is up to par with what you got on the field. Being able to understand when a tight end motions to the other side of the field and how to communicate for your middle linebacker to check off it or for a nickel back to pick it up, like whatever that communication is on the field, to get reps under your belt of doing that with a new defensive program, a new defensive scheme, that takes time to develop. And a lot of these good teams got the benefit of the doubt of figuring that out against teams that couldn't match them, athletically. And so you saw a couple close games, or you saw the Texas A&M's let UTSA put up 22 points on them, but they could put up 44 because their offense would overwhelm the athletes, and then they would figure out what they were figuring out on defense. And now we've seen since the Notre Dame game, A&M hasn't let over 17 points on defense. So things are clicking for these teams that Notre Dame just didn't have the same benefit of the doubt. So we're going into this USC and this back half of Notre Dame's schedule, hoping and praying that these new figures on our defense, with no Xavier Watts, with no Riley Mills, with no Jack Kaiser, can these new guys that are filling in these roles replace the vocal leadership that these guys were giving on the field and in schemes and in audibling? Same way that we're surprised CJ Carr is crushing it on offense as such a young guy, checks at the line, getting the guys in the right position, and our offense is clicking. We need that same level of excellence on defense, and I don't think we had it in the first couple games, but it seems like we're kind of starting to get it figured out here late.
Yeah, and kind of to go back to like you were mentioning the Miami. I mean, you gave up 27 points to a Miami team. Obviously, that's a lot of points. Like that's not stereotypical for a Notre Dame team. But
No.
holding that Miami attack to 27 isn't like disrespectful,
No.
in any way. I mean,
Yeah.
100% a respectable, defensive performance that could have won that game. I mentioned it earlier. Denbrock, I think, lost us the Miami game.
Mm-hmm.
Denbrock was too conservative with CJ Carr. Whatever happens, you didn't know what you had, you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I think Ash or slash the defense lost us the game against Texas A&M. And I think the biggest issue, kind of like you were talking about, I mean, obviously I think Ash was an issue. I think there was a situation where the personnel was incorrect, and that's on the
Yeah.
coaching staff. And I
Yeah.
think the game plan or the scheme of the week was not being relayed correctly. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That obviously we didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on. We had
Mm-hmm.
the number of guys we had playing different positions was just astronomical for the first 3 weeks of the season, and I think we've
Hobbs
finally gotten.
hasn't.
We've
Hobbs hasn't.
finally
Wow, I
gotten
gave a
there.
little thumbs up. Hobbs hasn't seen the field since A&M. Hobbs hasn't seen the field really since A&M and
He
Purdue.
caught a pick last
Tay,
week.
he did, but that was in cleanup time.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tay Johnson was not our. And I remember Stroman getting burnt multiple times in that A&M game. And
Yeah.
I think that was just a personnel thing where we were hoping experience would play over. But dude, the 6'3" athletic freak as a redshirt freshman, you got to put him in there. And I think it's proven to be true.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, um, we were kind of laughing today. We've got like my old school dad who is, if we give up a touchdown, we need to fire the staff, and if we don't win each game by 60,
Yeah.
uh, you know.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, he doesn't like anything flashy. He wants run it down your throat 5 yards at a time type
Yeah.
football. And that's just like not the reality of what it is. I mean,
No.
in the world of football, you have a billion different variables on why things work or don't work. Because, like I mentioned before, you can run the same coverage, every single time, and as long as your players do it perfectly, you can go out there and run
Yeah.
man coverage every single time on the field, and if your players are good enough to do it, they'll do it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just now, obviously, that's not the reality, and that's what people need to realize is Chris Ash can call a perfect game, and if the Jimmy and Joes aren't out there to execute, you can't do anything about it. Like you said, if you have Carson Hobbs out there covering Makai Lemon, it's just not going to happen. I mean,
Right.
maybe down the road, Hobbs, yeah, he's just I don't think it's necessarily like an athletic, deficiency. I mean, he's obviously an athlete. I think it's a fact of he's just not there yet, And when you go and you start asking, 20-year-old kids to do things that they can't do,
Mhm.
it's not fair, and that should have been realized in camp. It shouldn't have been pushed into. It certainly shouldn't have been pushed into the A&M game. I
No.
told you in the Miami game, that Hobbs wasn't. He needs to be off the field. I mean,
Yeah.
he got burnt by Tony for that touchdown where Beck threw it falling away, and
Yeah.
immediately I was like, let's get that guy off the field because he can't hang with that freshman. And I get that's a really talented, fast freshman, but I mean, at no point was he glued to that guy, and he wasn't in terrible position. It was just at no point was he in the position to stop that route.
Yeah, and I mean, and you gotta give the flowers where flowers are due. Mickens has kind of had some success with inserting freshmen in key points and having it turn into ridiculous talent. I mean, Leonard Moore was a 3-star. Who foresaw that? Anyone else other than the coaching staff? You know what I mean? Like they're seeing things in these guys that no one else is seeing, and that's just something that we got to trust. And I think he deserved that trust, that level of like reliance on like, hey, if Carson Hobbs is going to see the field as a freshman in the first game of the season in a big moment, kind of got to trust it because apparently he's seeing something. And his track record with Benjamin Morrison, his track record with Leonard Moore, his track record with Xavier Watts, and all these guys that are getting on the field in their sophomore or redshirt freshman and freshman seasons, and they're balling out. All right, I'm going to hear it out. But what I think a lot of Notre Dame fans are going to have a hard time, especially right now, and I think that's why we're so. And I think guys like your dad and some of these guys that are a little bit more like maybe casual or more expectant have higher expectations for this team. Dude, football teams are good. Football teams are very good at executing. They've put as much practice time as Notre Dame has. And to expect a team to go out there and keep a team to 7, 14 points, 10 points and, under 150 passing yards and under 80 rushing yards every single game. That's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
And I think what Al Golden did so well is that, yeah, teams would rattle off some big plays against us. I mean, like, if unless they were in the red zone, like, yeah, it was almost expected if a good passing team we were about to play, excuse me, they'd be able to rattle off a few passes because that's the game we played. We rushed a lot. We counted on man coverage. We counted on limited numbers on the back end because we're rushing 7, we're rushing 6. And then if you don't get home, that's the risk and that's the gamble you play. And as a Notre Dame fan, you accept it because you've seen it play out where, all right, they just rattled off that 40-yard passing play, but we know in the red zone we're going to lock up and we're at least holding them to 3, or we're going to force a turnover on one of these plays where our guy gets home and the quarterback throws a rushed pass to a waiting, camped under it safety in Xavier Watts or an Adon Schuler. And so I think we're starting to see some more of that play out here in these last few games with Chris Ash, where it's, if we can start to adjust our expectations, I don't think he's off the leash yet because that, the beginning of the season was just that rough. I mean, you can't let Purdue have 29 first half points or 24 first half points when we shut them out to 7 last year. I mean, I get they're a little bit better of a squad this year, but that's just
Yeah,
crazy.
and
And
a
if
lot
we
of that
can
was
hold him,
we
no, go
talked
ahead.
about it during the Purdue after the Purdue game. You got to remember that like 3 of those scores came off of a fake punt, a trick play, and they converted on 4th down like 3 times in the same possession. There was also a deep
Yeah,
ball that some receiver made a freak catch on.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Realistically, our defense probably gave up 14 like real points to them.
Yeah,
Now every point is real. We got to stop you got to stop a fake punt. You got to stop a 4th down conversion. But like when you get when a defense gets a team off the field or is supposed to have a team off the field or
yeah,
has something locked up and all of a sudden the running back throws a touchdown to a quarterback, it's you know that's the unaccounted for things. And I don't know why
yeah,
Purdue felt like the game against Notre Dame was when they had to you know, unleash 5 different trick. I mean, go make a
yeah.
statement. I mean, I don't think they ever expected to compete in the Big Ten this year. So I guess if you could go beat
You
a
pull out
Notre
the
Dame team
stops.
that was down on themselves, go do it. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I think that's kind of that. Those are the hard conversations that a casual fan are not going to want to hear. So they're just going to see Purdue put up points, and they're going to be like, "We shouldn't be letting Purdue put up points." And to an extent, that's correct, but also got to take in the context, like you're mentioning. And I think going into this USC game and the back half of the schedule, now that it feels like a little bit more of our defensive scheme is under control, it's figured out, it's becoming an identity. We're finally figuring out who plays what. The personnel changes have been made. I think we gotta take it easy. We gotta take it easy on this team in this next few weeks, and specifically against this USC game, guys. Jordan Mayava is like like top 3 quarterback in the nation right now statistically. This team is
71%,
number one. What's that?
72% completion rate, almost 2,000 yards through 6 games.
13 tugs, 2
13 only 2
picks.
picks. Yep.
Like the
Only been
dude's a
sacked 3
hooper.
times. That's impressive. As opposed
Yeah.
to Carr's been sacked 9 times. Now, granted, Carr played Miami and A&M. Those are 2 tough teams.
Yes.
He was sacked 3 or 4 times in the Miami game and 2 or 3 times in the A&M game. That is
Hmm.
an anomaly. I think since then we were laughing about it. Carr's jersey doesn't have grass stains on it, and we had Riley
They're not
Leonard
washing
last.
his jersey after games. He's just
Yeah,
putting that shit back on the hanger.
we had Riley Leonard last year who would like he had to have a new jersey because his was covered in blood and tore and like and
Yeah.
we keep
Uh-huh.
CJ Carr in pristine condition at all
Yeah.
times, which I love.
I do too. I do too. I think we got to just embrace it. They're gonna rack up yardage. They're gonna put up points. Can we limit it? Can we let them? We punt or we kick off and they got the ball in the 20. All right, yeah, they got they got to our 30. Can we lock them down and keep them to a field goal and take the wind out of their sails so that next possession they're thinking about the fact that we just came down 65 yards, scored on 7 plays, and now they have to play catch up. Can we keep those momentum shifts and those mentality like a little bit more intense rather than letting a Texas A&M team feel like, all right, we're down 10 right now, but we've been moving the ball well. It's not going to take a sec. It's not going to take us all but like 3 plays to go down the field and get back to this. So that's the new conversation. It's not the fire Chris Ash. It's the, can we have enough grace to let this defense cook? And if they don't perform and we get in another shootout, then we can have conversations in next week's post game, video about what went wrong, why we're still struggling and having these same conversations. But I think we've turned the corner. I want to hope that we've turned the corner. And I think that's just kind of the next thing that we have to chase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's all going to come down to, I mean, I think truly this defense, the the raw reality of it is, can you slow down Makai Lemon? And
Hmm.
if you do slow down Makai Lemon, do you have somebody that can stop Jacoby Lane? Do you
Yeah.
have somebody that's going to stop the tight end Lake McCree? I mean,
Yeah.
genuinely, that's what this comes down. It's the 100% pass defense. Whenever you're going up against a Lincoln Riley team. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, King Miller or whoever it was, the running back that took off for like 200 yards last game and a couple scores. Dude balled, but they're missing their two top running backs. They're missing both Jordan and Sanders.
Yeah.
Like I said, that King Miller, who was third string on the team, he came in, had a hell of a game against Michigan. I
Hey,
think that was probably the fact that Michigan was sitting back on their heels for the pass, and on several
weirdly
occasions.
enough, I saw a tweet today though that was like screenshotting the Michigan defense. They had like a loaded box of like 7 or 8, and USC was an empty, like no running back, no tight end on the line, and they just loaded the box. And they're like, "What the hell is Michigan defense is doing
Michigan,
when
we're gonna
they
be
got
tougher than you.
we got 5 wide on like the nation's best quarterback, and you're gonna load the box like so? I mean, I didn't really watch the tape or the game too closely to see what that game looked like.
It was
Michigan's
bad,
known to
dude.
have a
It
pretty
was it was
physical
uglier. It was
team,
uglier than
but
the score. It was uglier than the score. I mean,
yeah.
because they got a turnover and scored off of it in the second half,
Mm.
and that not happened, I mean, USC was going to score on that possession. It was going to get worse, man. And
Hey.
I know that you've got some family ties to Michigan, so I won't dog them too bad.
Hey, I think they would be first to tell you the game wasn't too pretty. But hey,
Yeah,
before we dive in fully, I know we've touched on it a little bit. It's hard to talk about midseason thoughts without eyeing what's ahead of us. USC game, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but just very quickly, I want to hit some bullet points on what we think offense needs to improve on and what defense needs to improve on going forward this back half of the season to help our playoff run. We've been in the playoffs since week 2. It's just a matter of fact. We've been in the playoffs since we started off 0-2. We're currently 4-0 in our playoff run. How do we finish the season 6-0 and make ourselves be in a weird position for this playoff committee to keep us out? So offensively, what do you see? It's been proficient. It's obviously been the better side of the ball for Notre Dame so far. What do we need to improve on to make sure that we either uphold the standard we've set, improve upon the standard we've set, and continue rolling and being a top 20 offense?
I think offensively it's real simple. If we
Mm-hmm.
continue to do the same thing we've been doing, which sounds, that's real lazy, but hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love, hand the ball off to Darian Price 2, 3 times, then pop somebody over the top with,
Yeah.
one of our receivers, whether it be Faison, if it's, Fields or Raritan has been a deep threat. That's what we need to do. We're running to open
Mm-hmm.
up the pass where we didn't have that option in years past. Not even just
Yeah.
last year. That's just not been an option for Notre Dame in a few years. I mean, we had even when we had Sam Hartman, we had a good quarterback that was competent, but we didn't have the receivers, you know, at that
And we had a
time.
first time OC, but yeah.
Right. It wasn't even just the first time. I mean, I don't, we won't go into him, but right now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
neither one of us
Yeah.
were happy with him. Um,
uh,
Sam Hartman didn't have the weapons.
yeah.
Rico Flores was about all he had then, and
Yeah.
he had a great
And a
great
walk
house.
on phase on that we didn't know was
Faison, we
available.
had Faison as a walk-on lacrosse player. We had a hurt Jaden Greathouse, and we had Rico Flores, who I think he's at UCLA now, or was at one time. I don't know if he still is, but kind of
And
wish he'd
Tobias
stayed.
Merriweather, that
Tobias
might be the
Merriweather,
most
who couldn't
disappointing
break the
5-star
top,
of all
yeah,
time.
yeah, couldn't break the top five last year in our receivers, and
It,
it wasn't really an
yeah.
overwhelming receiver room. But
No.
all that to say, we continue to hand the ball off to Jeremiah
Hmm.
Love 10 to 20 times a game, somewhere in there. We continue to hand the ball
Yeah.
off to Jarian Price. Let's say 7 or 8 times to 15, whatever the
Yeah.
game calls for. Whoever's got the hot hand, let's go. We can't turn the ball over.
No.
Turnovers are going to kill us.
Yep.
which we've done a good job on. CJ Carr has thrown 3 picks, and I think every one of them has been tipped in some way or another.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, yeah, the latest one was just him trying to get the ball up to a tackled Malachi Fields in the back of the end zone,
he
but
just threw. I
so be
mean,
it.
it was 4th down. It was basically.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a punt.
yeah,
Now they were on like the 20-yard. But at that point, you might as well throw it up to somebody. Now Malachi Fields got interfered with, and it wasn't called. I don't understand how that wasn't called.
I did see a replay. I think he went out of bounds and came back in bounds, and the ref
But
threw the hat down.
was he not pushed out of bounds? And even if he
I
was, he's allowed to reestablish himself. And at that point, he was
he
being pushed.
he is. I didn't see if that got talked about more, but the ref's hat was down. Someone pulled it up, and I was like, all right. I mean, given how the rest of the game was going, I don't really want to see all that. They're kind of hoeing us, but yeah,
Regardless.
whatever.
But if Jadarian Price can stop his fumbling issues, which we've talked about before, uh,
Yeah,
he had fumbling issues last year. He fumbled in the Miami game and got yanked. He didn't see the
yep,
field again, and then he fumbled last week, and we didn't see him again against NC State, which
yeah,
I kind of mentioned to you. Sometimes it feels like just let Jeremiah Love run the ball. Stop
yeah.
trying to do what we don't need to do. If we get down to the goal line
Hand the
and
ball off.
we can give the ball to Jeremiah Love, let's do it, man. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm tired of now. That's not realistic, and I know that Jadarian Price is more than capable. It just feels that way sometimes. Like when
yeah.
people make mistakes, it's just like, why are we not using the weapons we have? And I know Jadarian Price is a weapon. He's just not Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I mean, the same way he would run it in, and we'd be like, "That's stud." I mean, he fumbled. You would feel like a little bit more grace for Jeremiah Love because he doesn't do it. So if he did do it, you're like, "Nah, we gave it the best shot and it didn't work." But to see a Jadarian Price on the goal line fumble, you're kind of like, "Why wasn't Jerry Love in there?"
Yeah,
I think I echo a lot of your bullet points. Take care of the ball, hand the ball off, continue to use the best running back duo in the country. And I think the point that kind of summarizes that is Denbrock just can't beat himself. Just
yeah,
don't beat himself. It don't get too crazy. Don't get too cute.
right.
Just use what you got. We've had 4th down and goal line and red zone issues in the last couple of weeks. Don't know why.
He's
Stop
getting
being.
well. That's exactly. He's doing too damn much, dude.
Yes.
It's fourth and 2, and we run a sprint out with our quarterback who's not. I'm not saying he's not
And they
capable of
covered
running the
they
ball.
covered it. Like,
Yeah, they
give
covered it.
credit to the defense. They
Now,
covered it right. Like, if it works, the play's brilliant. So I don't blame
yeah.
him for trying something. But hey, if we're in the red zone and it's 1st and 9, maybe try your play action.
Hold on, guys. We lost.
And then on 2nd down, do your play action trick. And then if that doesn't work, your last 2 plays, you just hand the ball off to the best backs in the country. Like, it just feels like we need some wiggles. I was listening to Irish Breakdown, and Brian was breaking down some of the film. He's like, we've ran the exact same like 4th down set 3 weeks in a row, and it worked the first 2 weeks. And NC State, of course, watched film and knew how to cover it. They knew that Faison would be going streaking over the middle. They knew Malachi Fields would running out. It's like, all right, it's been on tape, and maybe he's just withholding it for the USC game and for the back half of our schedule. But I hope he has a plan. Let's just create some squiggles off of it. That's all it's going to take. The film's out there now. How are you going to differentiate the film? The stuff that works, the stuff that's going to work regardless, do it. But the things that you got on film that you ran repeatedly that have worked, do you have counters off it? Denbrock, don't beat yourself on this back half of the season. Keep handing the ball off to the best 2 in the country and use this top 5 passing attack in the nation. I think our offensive line is figuring it out. Run blocking needs to get a little bit better, but I think that's something that can be cleaned up. I'm not worried about it. Offense is right there.
Let
Offense
the
is right
boys
there.
eat.
You've already said it.
Let the
Keep
boys
keep
eat.
doing what you've been doing. On the defensive side, improvements feels like the list could be miles long while also shortening up pretty quickly week by week. I want to see havoc. I want to see chaos. I'm okay to give up Mayava, busting some passes this coming week. I'm okay with it. But are there other plays where we're sacking the quarterback? Are there plays where he at least has to think about it? Like, I'm tired of the Marcel Reed having 8 seconds in the pocket to run around and scramble, and then you let the 2 best running back or wide receivers on that team, Craver and Concepcion, just like run free. Our defensive backs are not going to be able to hang with the Malachi Lemons and the guys that we have going forward
Because
for
nobody
8,
is.
9 seconds on a play because no one can do that.
Yeah.
So can we create havoc? Can we get this quarterback in pressure? I'm okay if plays happen if I see the fact that we're taking the risks, we're taking the shots. You know what I mean? Like I want to see it, and we just got to keep having the right personnel in the right spot. Can we avoid injury? I think that's going to be kind of a huge thing. Devontae Smith's been injured the entire season. Can he get healthy? Can we lock down the nickel? Can we please lock down the nickel? It feels like such a sore spot. The slots killed us every game.
I think it's also the fact I think Freeman loves to have players ready and not use them, and I think it's like you saw him come out. You saw
Devontae
Smith
played in the Boise game.
He came out for the Arkansas game. Did he play against Boise?
Yeah, he played a little bit. Number 0, right?
I think Freeman loves to rest guys, and obviously he takes every game seriously. But you're gonna take some of these games a lot different than if you're playing USC. Devontae Smith is gonna play.
Yeah,
I would guess. I mean, I don't. Obviously, I have no.
He's listed questionable, but he's.
Yeah, I have no insider information. I would say Devontae Smith plays. I would say Jaden Greathouse plays, and I think they probably both could have played last week against NC State. And I think it was the type of situation where Freeman was like, obviously we want those guys, but if they're not, 100%, let's not do it. And there's a lot of guys that I think Devontae Smith and Jaden Greathouse are probably better than their backups at 85%. But is it worth it at that point? Unless
I will say, KK Smith looked great. I mean,
he's looked great.
I think Jaden Greathouse, if anybody on the field that truly isn't necessarily needed right now, it would be at the wide receiver position. Carr's like making everybody look great. So if Greathouse isn't ready, I would argue that don't take snaps from someone who's going to give you 100%, because this is the game that we need 100%. But a Devontae Smith in the position that we've literally been struggling in the 2 or 3 other rotational players. Hey, if you're good enough to go, we need you on there. 85%, 90%, I'm going to take you over a still learning, freshman that obviously has not proven to be a Leonard Moore or Benjamin Morrison or, Julian Love.
You gotta realize too, Micah Gilbert is out for the season. I don't know if you saw that.
He's out for the season? I thought he was just out for the game.
He's either out for the game. I saw he was out.
He's out. He has a thumb injury. I don't think he's out for the season.
I thought I saw he broke his hand.
Maybe I'll have to check that.
I could be. I just saw he was out. He's not playing. So that's not saying that we have KK Smith. He had a good game. We have guys. I would like to have Jaden Greathouse for this game, even if he's not going to start. I would like to have him as an option because
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I would like to not get to the point where we're throwing Matt Jeffrey out there to start running routes. If we can stay away from the cross receivers for now. I know we've hit Pater with Faison. If we can stay away from the white receiver. I know he caught that long ball. Who was that against? Was that against
it was against Boise. It was against Boise. Burnt the Boise guy.
Was it Boise or Arkansas? I don't know. Regardless.
No, Faison caught the fade on the.
Gotcha. Well, he caught that ball and we were like, I don't know who the hell that is, but.
No, Jeffrey. I thought you were talking about Faison. Yeah, Jeffrey caught it from which was a dot from Minchie. I'm not gonna lie.
Minchie threw a good ball. Yeah, I want to keep our our guys out there. So if we can get Greathouse out there, especially without Micah Gilbert. I know Micah Gilbert isn't like a guy, but somebody I trusted a little bit more than down the line. So I think
defense has got to stay locked in. Defense got to prove it. Prove that these last 2 games aren't a fluke. Prove that these last 2 games. I'm not expecting you to hold USC to 7 points. I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love it. But I would take a 35-14, 35-17 win. I'd take a 35-21 win. I'd take a 30-28 win. I just want to win above and ball and be above all. But can the defense show that it's not gonna pull an A&M and give up 41? Like, do we have to score all the points to win this game, or can the defense give us a shot and not have to totally rely on a redshirt freshman?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm with you. I think our defense needs to apply pressure. We need to be able to cover in man coverage. I hope Leonard Moore travels with Lemon. I think too. That's the best success for recipe for success.
Given that Devontae Smith's not on there, I think I could trust it.
Yeah, I think the issue we're gonna have, or that we could have, is if we fall in love with the man coverage and we pull our safeties up to cover, a tight end or a slot
Hmm.
receiver, and we don't have any over the top help. We have to stay in minimum of cover one. If we drop back in cover two, I'm good with it. And if we're going to
Hmm.
drop zone, let's just go cover three and protect everything over the top with these receivers.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody. I
Yeah.
don't trust anybody at all. And our pressures have to get home. We can't send pressure and get rid of our backers over the middle and just let them
Agreed.
pick us apart on in routes, because it's just hard for a corner to cover an in breaking route when you have the threat of over the top and outside. I mean, it's just tough.
Agreed.
So those are my points. Real simple. We have to generate pressure while not giving up the big play.
Agreed. Agreed.
And another thing, just this is the only thing I'm going to say about special teams.
Hmm.
Noah Burnett obviously made his two field goals last week. Neither one looked particularly great. I think he's been still working through his injury, so
Yeah.
I hope that he's healthy and he's not a problem point this weekend.
I I would argue that even if he was good to go, with the potential of the rain that we might see coming, especially with given his injury, I would anticipate anything under a 4th and 5 that we're probably going to go for it.
Yes,
Given that it's not, a gimme.
I'm with you.
um, but even then, if we're within the 20, I would hope that we could pick up a 4th and 3. Um, all right, that's a good point. That's a good point. Notre Dame has some stuff to improve, but we're hoping to look forward to much improved. All right, I know we've been giving nuggets throughout this whole episode. It's hard to avoid it. It's the main topic at hand, because you don't want to look back too much. A lot of things are changing and everything's kind of going forward here. But USC game, this game has a lot riding on it. Potentially the last game in the series for a while, given that a deal isn't struck. Um, Personally, I would love to see a deal struck. This game is historic. We're talking 100 years of football between these two programs, only taking off during World War II and COVID. It started way back in the the early
Just hearing
1900s.
that sentence put together.
I know, World War
World War
II and
II and COVID.
COVID. Newt Rockne started the rivalry because his wife wanted to go out west, and so he said, "Why not play football team out there?" And USC and Notre Dame got it started. The wives from both respective coaches were friends and made it happen, and the rest is history. The Jeweled Shillelagh, major historical rivalry here. I would argue it's a top 5 rivalry in college football.
Can't
And
believe
it's at a,
college game day is not coming to this
I
game with
can't
the
believe it either,
implications.
especially given that this rivalry might be going away. Uh, I've been listening to a ton of podcasts on both sides. The USC fandom wants it. The Notre Dame fandom wants it. The administrations on mainly USC side is a little bit more finicky, given that they are choosing to be in a conference that literally makes zero sense for them to be in, and they are now complaining upon who they have to play, conference being tough, which is also bogus, and having to travel, which is so soft, in the wintertime. We've bent to their request of not playing. If it's in Notre Dame Stadium, we play in October. If it's out west at USC, we play the last game of the season. And that's been that way for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And that was per USC's request because they just didn't want to play in the snow in the wintertime. I think that's incredibly soft. And so we've been always kind of like taking their lead big time. We've always been kind of like taking what they've been given just to maintain the rivalry. And now they're requesting that the game gets played earlier in the season, which I think completely removes the point of the rivalry. It's meant to be a make or break game. It's meant to hold the same weight as the Michigan Ohio State. It's meant to give either team in an off year a chance to completely ruin the other team's season. If that's the weight of this thing, that's the importance, that's the magnitude of this thing. That's why a 6-6 USC win for Notre Dame can still hold weight in a playoff driven season. It's the same for the reverse of that. It still gives Caleb Williams a Heisman Trophy on a down year for USC. So I don't want to see I don't want to see this rivalry go away, but I also don't want to see Notre Dame continue to bend the knee to this soft ass program out in West. And I think if this deal that's on the table is a request that they have to play earlier in the season, Brian Driscoll's been pretty outspoken on what he thinks about it, and I kind of agree with him. I say we just let it go. I think it completely removes the thought of the program of the rivalry to play it in September. I just don't think it holds the same weight. It's going to be any other game, and I don't think you can name another major rivalry in college football that plays in September. So I'm just not interested in doing that and setting
Yeah.
that precedent.
Yeah.
And so I would like to see it go on, but I also would like to see Notre Dame kind of strong arm it and make USC have to own up to the fact that they are pulling out from it because they're scared to play a good team during
Yeah.
their new conference that they had to join for money.
Yeah. And I think it all boils down to the fact that, like you said, it's just fear. They're scared,
Yeah.
and it'd be one thing if both programs were you know this high caliber level of play right now, but USC's
Mm.
just not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
USC has not been anything. I don't. I mean, I haven't had any fear in USC. And Caleb Williams had one good game against it. I didn't fear Caleb Williams at any time. I remember telling you, I was like, dude, I don't know how Caleb Williams is being talked about this draft god like he is. I was like, I've
Yeah.
never once watched a game of like Caleb Williams against Notre Dame. Now he tore us up because we couldn't get home. The pressure was there. We just couldn't bring him down. And then we
We were
made him
super
look like
injured and had a fifth grader at quarterback
yeah.
that couldn't put any pressure on the offensive side of ball. So, I mean, what
I
do you want
think
us to do?
I think that we made him look like a JV quarterback the last time that USC came to South Bend, and
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, or I would guess that we are going to do something similar to Mayaba, dude. Seriously, I mean, I don't think he's really
Yeah.
played in an environment like he's going to be playing in on Saturday night, and I mean that. I mean,
Yeah.
100%. I can't think of an environment that he has seen thinking about their schedule this year, last year, that has implications like this. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be night. There's going to be weather. There's going to be, Notre Dame's going to let the light show go. It's going
It's
to
a
be,
playoff game for Notre Dame.
it's a playoff game for both. 100%. This is, I mean, you can't tell me that USC has a chance at making a playoff if they lose this game. I mean, genuinely, they're not winning the Big Ten.
No.
I mean, do you see a universe that USC wins the Big Ten?
No, let me check the rest of their schedule here.
It, it,
After us,
it
they got to
doesn't
play
matter.
Nebraska,
They might
Northwestern,
lose that.
Iowa. Northwestern just beat Penn State. I mean, you say what you want about Penn State. That's still 5-star and 4-star talent that Northwestern took out. Iowa, they're always weird. Oh, and then Oregon
They're not beating
to end
Oregon.
the season.
They're not beating
They
Oregon.
they probably won't beat Oregon,
They
and it's at
can't.
Oregon.
I would venture to say that they cannot beat Oregon. They cannot beat Ohio State. They cannot beat Indiana. I just
Yeah.
think that's a fact. Those three
Yeah.
teams, even if they were to like somehow slip around the Big Ten and make it to the game, which I don't, like I said, they're not going to beat Oregon, so it's not going to matter. But even if they beat Oregon, they're losing to either Ohio State or Indiana, whoever they have to match up against in the championship. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
it just
unless this team makes a dramatic turnaround, which they want us to believe after the Michigan game, I don't believe it. But if they made a big turnaround from that Illinois game and Michigan State game where they gave up 31 points to a Michigan State team and they gave up 34 points and a loss to Illinois because their defense couldn't stop anything and Luke Altmaier threw all over them, I just don't see anything changing. And I think you could have had that exact same conversation post A&M about Notre Dame, and Notre Dame proved that they've changed something. I think these kinds of conversations were happening on other teams' podcasts, and I don't think a Notre Dame fan could really say much after that A&M game. You're like, yeah, I don't think we could stop. I don't think we could stop a leak if it was right in front of us. Like, I just don't think anything could happen.
This is why they want the rivalry gone, because this is a playoff game for them, and they're not ready for this game. Notre Dame is built this way, where they are built, and it's been that way for forever because they don't have the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Every game of a season is damn near a playoff game for Notre Dame.
Yeah,
and that's just what it is. Every year, whether it be the playoff or the BCS, every game they lost, it was like, oh, there goes the season. So Notre Dame's used to playing like this. USC is not. USC always used to fall back on the fact that they were going to tear up the weak ass Pac-12. And it didn't matter what games they lost. They would love to be playing Western Michigan this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would love to be playing, Oregon State this week. It's just what they want.
I think they're so stupid. I think all of these teams conference realigning are so stupid. Yes, you caught a bag to join a different conference, but God, dude, USC sticks in the Pac-12. They're in like even just letting Oregon move over, but they stay in the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 shouldn't change. I mean, it just made no sense. I don't
No,
I get money.
and dude, they would have. like the best like some of the better teams in some of these other conferences with the realignment. Like Texas made the SEC championship in its first year. Oregon made and won the Big Ten in its first year. Like you didn't need to leave your conference. You could have stayed competitive in your own conference and then gotten a bunch of your teams in the playoffs in your own conference and made the money from being in the playoffs from your own conference. Like it just does not make sense to me that you switched over for a bag that you probably could have made on the back end and then continued to make because your playoff team just won for your conference and now you have conference interest.
Yeah.
It just there was such a short-sighted perspective. Had it still stuck with a 4-team playoff, okay, I could maybe get around to it. You got to get a better run at it. You know what I mean? They were going to give a Big Ten team the nod. They were going to give an SEC team the nod. So I mean, you got to give a chance to it. But I think it was so ignorant and stupid, man. I don't know. Maybe this is independent Notre Dame fan talking, because we make all our own money.
I think it's a pretty general thought. I mean, outside of USC, Oregon, UCLA fans, because they're going to back their squad no matter what. And I think some of them are like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, the whole country is like, this doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just, money is money is money. It's never going to change. People want money. I don't know why USC thought they were going to walk into the Big Ten and run it. I could see them every year beating a team they're not supposed to beat, or you wouldn't expect them to be. They're just not built to play Big Ten football, and I don't think Big Ten football is built to play USC football. So you're just running into a combination that doesn't mix. It doesn't
definitely
look good.
Not with
It doesn't
Lincoln
look good
Riley
on
there.
TV. It just doesn't. It's just not.
No, and Lincoln Riley's brand of football is not Big Ten football. I'm sorry. You're a Big 12 coach.
He's West Coast. He's West Coast and Big 12 football. That's what Lincoln Riley needs to be. I don't think it works in the Big Ten or the SEC.
Nope.
Unless he's going to be a coordinator. He's just I don't know. I don't know, man.
I would gladly take Lincoln Riley to run my offense. I think I would be very open to that. If Denbrock left tomorrow and I had a pick, I would take him on my short list 100%. He's not going to backtrack.
Happen, but he's never going to not be a head coach. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like I think you were primed and ready for that, but you are not built to lead a team into a defensive heavy conference like that. Like it just is not how he's been built. I think he's proven that over and over again. I think he had a better record in Oklahoma, and he left Oklahoma once they were looking like they were going to join the SEC because he wanted something easier with USC in the Pac-12, and then they joined the Big Ten, and he still got stumped. So I'm talking all this, and we get beat on Saturday, and there's plenty of tape and material for people to quote on it. But
I want to hear the prediction. Come on.
I think Notre Dame's defense is heading in the right direction. I think our offense is going to tear their defense up. I think CJ Carr is going to have the weekend and the game that's going to push him into top 10 on Heisman odds. He finally broke Heisman odds in general on the graphic.
Plus 2,500.
Yeah, I think he's gonna vault himself way up the rankings, probably be top 7, top 8 with a big win. I think he's gonna throw for 260, 270, 3 tugs, no picks. He's gonna play a clean game. I think Jeremiah Love finally breaks his 60+ yard run in this game. I think there's a drive where we just have the right scheme and he hurdles somebody or something crazy and he just breaks a big run. And I think Notre Dame wins 38-18.
18.
Yeah.
And where are you getting 18? How's that gonna happen?
I think they.
You think they're gonna
I'm going 18, brother.
Time?
I'm going 18. I ain't gonna try to worry about how they
go
get
for 2 one time, worried about the weather. I like it. Listen, I like it.
I'm going 18. And when they get 18, also Noah and I are going to be at the game this weekend. And when they get 18, I'm going to go on our Instagram story that has 0 posts, and I'll be like, I told y'all they would score 18. 38-18 Notre Dame.
38-18. Okay, I'm going a solid. Now I was gonna go. I thought my number was good, but you stuck it with 18. I was going to go 42-21 was the number 42. I had in my mind. And I thought that was going to be like disrespectful to USC, but you dropped an 18 number on them. So
I just got a feeling that under the lights at night, Notre Dame defense is going to be fired up. Kingston Viliamasa, like, dude, we got so many people we stole from USC. We have bulletin board material with Chad Bowden running his mouth. or Bowen, or
Bowen.
however the hell you say his name.
Yeah,
And I
Bowen.
think we have enough recruits that were courted by that squad that are going to be interested in shutting it down. I think we kind of had a bad showing in front of our recruits at the A&M game. Granted, I think that game was fine. Don't think it left a sour taste in any recruit's mouth. But I think we're ready to prove it. We got a lot of recruits coming to
We
this
got big
game.
names, big names.
We got big names. We
We
got
got
names
Penn
that are
State
looking to,
decommits. We got
yes, decommits.
Ohio State commit.
We got a wide
5-star.
receiver with an Ohio State tattoo that's not even on Ohio State yet, coming to see Notre Dame.
Get you a bad
All right. Dude, CJ Carr, that's that guy. He's that guy.
Well,
And I
look
think
at,
if
hey,
he
I'd
can
take
put
him
up a
over
career
Julian
day,
Sain 100%.
100%. Julian Sain is driving a Ferrari. All right. We got Carr in a nice Mercedes right now. We got him in a nice
Is he driving a
Mercedes, and he's
Mercedes?
making it look.
Is he
No,
driving
no,
a
we got him in a Mazda deal, bro.
Oh, is he
we
really?
got CJ Carr to a Mazda deal. Hell yeah, dude. No, I think yeah, no, I don't think I was saying figuratively. He
I
was
got you.
driving a Ferrari.
I
I
hear
don't
what you're
think.
saying.
Yeah,
I thought you were being literal for a minute.
I mean, any quarterback's gonna be able to do all right throwing up to Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, I like our guys. Hey, so
I like our guys too.
I love the number. I love the number 18 you're giving them. I'm letting them score 21 to our 42.
Cool.
Real quick,
At late scores, or is it close?
I think Notre Dame jumps out to a couple score lead, and then it kind of goes back and forth for a minute, and then Notre Dame kind of separates again late. I think that's.
Does Notre Dame get a special team score?
I'll say something cool happens. Special teams. We're gonna block something, especially with the weather. I think if there's rain, there's gonna be snap issues. We're gonna send somebody on a punt block or a field goal block or something. I think something cool happens. Special teams. I don't know that we score. But I think once again Notre Dame's gonna do something cool in the special teams game.
Yeah.
So real quick before we get out of here, it's super long. We might as well hit the hour mark real quick. We're gonna. I've got the schedule for this weekend pulled up.
Okay.
Let's pop through some good games here.
Let's do it.
So Louisville, Miami. Miami is a 13.5 point favorite. What are you feeling? It's at
Louisville, Miami. Miami's gonna win. And I think it's close. I think it's real close, but I think Miami squeaks it out.
I think Miami wins and covers.
Ooh, wow. Okay. All right. I would love to see that.
Here's one that's going to be fun for you. Nebraska at Minnesota. Nebraska is an 8.5 point favorite.
Minnesota is 4-2.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Minnesota. I think Minnesota kind of takes the wind out of the sails, and it creates the Matt Rule to Penn State conversation get real interesting.
Give me PJ Fleck for the win. First of all, I'd like to see PJ.
I don't think you ever pick against PJ Fleck.
No, I love PJ Fleck, and I don't. He hasn't done anything to even earn it. But I'd like to see PJ Fleck go to Penn State. If I'm honest,
State, that could be a good.
I think he's just so loyal. I mean, I think he just loves being loved, and they love him in Minnesota. He's creating his culture. They rode the boat over there just like they did over in at Western when he took on Wisconsin in that New Year's Six Bowl.
Love it.
So I like Minnesota to win the game outright.
Cool.
Let's see. So one that's going to be fun. LSU at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is actually a 2.5 point favorite. Number 10 versus
Give
number
me
17.
Vanderbilt, baby.
I'm gonna take Vandy. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Diego Pavia. I'm gonna take my boy Clark Lee, who's also in the conversation for the Penn State job. I think he loves it at Vandy. He's a Vandy alum. I think he stays at Vandy, but give me Vandy to win it outright. I don't care if they cover or not. I mean, it's 2.5.
Yeah. Give me Vandy.
Yep. Georgia Tech and a sneaky Duke team. It's at Duke.
I think Georgia Tech's rolling.
Duke is a 1.5 point favorite.
I think Georgia Tech's rolling. I think
Georgia
that game
Tech wins the game. I think it's as ugly as it's been. The over-under on that game is 61.5. I think it's absolutely as ugly as Georgia Tech's been winning. They've been winning in overtime and late in the fourth quarter. I think Georgia Tech wins it, and I think it's ugly late. Washington and at Michigan. Now Washington is 6-0 current, or 5-1. They lost to Ohio State.
With the Ohio State loss, but that Washington quarterback's nice. I think Washington comes in and shocks Michigan.
Yeah, in the big house.
Yeah,
Or yeah,
I
yeah.
think it kind of puts the nail. I think Michigan doesn't have the weapons out wide, and I think
I think they're tore up. I think their
yeah, I think
confidence is
that
probably
USC
shot.
loss.
Yeah, I think that hurt.
I think they will make it weird for Ohio State later in the year, though. I just kind of have a feeling.
Give me it's I say either. This isn't the way to do these picks. I think Washington will win it. I think they'll definitely cover. I don't see
Yeah,
Michigan covering a touchdown.
yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Oklahoma at South Carolina. Oklahoma is a 5.5 point favorite. John Mateer does not look like the John Mateer of
Yeah,
old with his injury. They are a 5.5 point favorite on the road in Columbia.
I'm gonna take South Carolina.
I am actually leaning the same way. I think that they rush Mateer back. Unless
Hmm.
Mateer comes out and if Mateer looks like old Mateer, I'm taking him. But if he looks like the John Mateer that played against Texas last week, I mean, single handedly kind of lost him that game. He looked awful.
South
Um,
Carolina and Florida are both kind of in the same boat for me. I think they have like really
you're
good
just gonna
talent.
take him no matter what.
No, well, I don't know about that. Like,
Yeah.
if a different game, I'd probably pick against them. Like last week, I probably would have picked against Florida. Like when they played Texas,
Yep.
or no, when they played who'd they play? They played A&M. I would have definitely
Yep.
picked A&M over Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, no, South Carolina's kind of the same boat. They have the team in theory; they should be good, but they're just not playing well. But I think at a beaten up Oklahoma game, especially if Mateer is not looking right, I think South Carolina at home covers.
Love it. Love it. All right. Ohio State at Wisconsin. That's a 25.5 point line. I think Wisconsin makes it weird. I really do. Now I'm not
I do
saying they
too.
like threaten to win. I think it's like a 10 point game.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I think Ohio State wins. I think it's 10, 13 point game. And I think Ohio State keeps its distance like from like the second quarter on, but like Wisconsin just kind of hangs around, plays good defense, and it's close throughout.
Okay. Next one. Michigan at Indiana, 27.5 point line.
Michigan State.
Michigan State, sorry. Michigan State
Yeah.
at Indiana, 27.5 point line.
I'm gonna take IU at home, but I think Michigan State covers.
I think IU rocks them. I
Okay.
think they absolutely tear their ass up.
Love it.
I think
I love
it's
it.
kind of like an Illinois game where they win like 63-7 or something dumb like
I
that.
love it.
Okay.
Dude, no way. The line for this A&M game? Are you
Uh huh.
kidding me?
This is a team that Notre Dame beat. What was the final score of that game?
For 55-13?
56-13.
56-13?
56-13. It's Texas A&M is traveling to Arkansas where Notre Dame handled business, and they are a 7.5 point favorite.
I think A&M wins and A&M covers.
I
But
think
if Arkansas upsets them, I'm not mad at it.
I
I'm
like
not mad at it.
I like A&M to win, and I have a weird feeling it's going to be about that line at like 7 or 8 points.
What does that mean? Like you can't tell me Pittman leaving is the significant like because they did
No,
what
the
they
only
did against
bad
Ole
game
Miss
they've had
prior.
this year. Now they lost to Memphis, right?
Memphis.
Yeah, they lost
Yeah.
to Memphis on a game they shouldn't have lost, but that wasn't like a bad game. I mean, they were in it the entire. The only
And
bad
they
game they've
fumbled.
had this year is Notre Dame with their defense figured out. I mean, nobody's stopping that offense except Notre Dame right now. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're walking into everybody's stadium and throwing points down, and Notre Dame held them to one touchdown and two field goals.
Yep. Yep. I
I'll
will
take.
I will accept that defeat of a team that we need to keep winning,
I
but
I
it's
will
because
I will be very sad because we need A&M in the top five. I think, but
but if it's a loss to Arkansas, a team that we destroyed, I think I'm fine with
that's
it.
the only exception. I think you're
Yeah.
right. Okay, here. I hate this one. Is disgusting. Ole Miss.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Ole
Yeah.
Miss is a 7.5 point dog. Did the rankings mean? Why do they rank teams? The
Yeah.
rankings mean nothing. I mean, I understand it's not a power ranking, whatever.
Well, I
They
think
are.
it's also at Georgia,
It's
so
at
that helps.
Georgia, but like I don't know. Okay, regardless, Ole Miss 7.5 point dog at Georgia.
Dude, I want to pick Ole Miss, and I'm sorry, Fletcher, I do want to pick Ole Miss, but I'm gonna pick Georgia, and I think it's just because of the home field advantage. I think Georgia figures it out.
Give me the Rebels.
All right.
Give me the Rebels of
All
Ole
right.
Miss.
All right.
Fuck the dogs. Oh, sorry. We haven't been saying stuff like that. Sorry.
You're
Sorry.
good. You're good. You're good.
Sorry. One that I think would just be funny: SMU at Clemson. I think it'd be hilarious if SMU won. Clemson's a
I do
nine and a
too,
half
but I
point
think
favorite.
Clemson wins.
I think Clemson probably wins.
Yeah,
A
Clemson wins.
game
Is
that
that
has implications for us slightly because we like to see them do good. UNLV is going to Boise State. That's a rivalry between those two teams. Um,
I think Boise pulls it out.
yeah, Boise is a 12 and a half point favorite. I'd like to see Boise continue to roll, see if they can break into the top 25 by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And get
so
on down to the rest of the ranked.
yep.
There's a few of them. Let's roll these quick.
Texas Tech, Arizona State. Texas Tech's a 7.5 point favorite on the road.
Arizona State, give me them. The Texas Tech loses it this week.
I think Texas Tech wins. Close game though.
Okay.
Let's go Memphis at UAB. Memphis is going to dog them.
Yep.
I like the 22
Memphis.
and a half.
Yep. Memphis. Give me Memphis, and I will take UAB to cover, but I'll take Memphis.
Oregon at Rutgers. They're 17.5 point favorite. I think
Oregon bounces back and covers.
Yep,
Huge.
I agree. I think they get right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Washington State at Virginia. Virginia is a 17.5 point favorite. Washington State has not looked great.
Yeah, give me Virginia. I'll take Virginia and to cover.
Texas at Kentucky. Give me Kentucky to beat Texas.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'll take Texas to win, but I think Kentucky covers.
Okay. Let's go.
We got to pick it. Penn State at Iowa. Interim head coach. Does Penn State figure it out?
I think Penn State wins.
All right, Penn State wins. I'll take Penn State as well.
Okay.
I think they get their first.
Tennessee,
well, yeah.
Tennessee
I'll take
at Alabama. I think that game gets really weird. It's tough to pick.
I do too.
I think Bama wins because they're home. I think that game is a very weird game.
Okay. Just because I want us to have a little bit of variety in our record of picks, I'll take Tennessee.
Love it. All right, USC, Notre Dame. We already gave our pick on that.
Notre Dame and they cover.
Yep. South Florida, Florida Atlantic. South Florida.
I like. I don't know if they. Yeah, they cover. South Florida and they cover.
Not a ranked game, but matters for us because we need Pittsburgh to keep winning because we see them in a few weeks and we need them ranked.
Yes.
Pitt at Syracuse, 10.5 point favorite.
I think Pitt wins. I think Syracuse needed Angeli. If Syracuse had Angeli, I think Syracuse is ranked by the time we play them.
Yep. I think Pittsburgh's new quarterback is a gunslinger. I like him. Missouri just took a very tough loss to Bama, and somehow they're only a 1.5 point favorites at Auburn on the road. I like Missouri to win and cover.
I think Auburn wins. I think they bounce back and get a dub here.
Their
I think
is just anemic as hell, man.
It is, but they've had some really weird games and they've given some games to some good teams this season. I think they figured it out at home against Missouri. I don't believe in Missouri.
A lot of good games, but this is another good one. A nightcap, Utah at BYU. Utah is actually the favorite on the road, which is crazy to me. You've got
BYU escaped a weird game last week. Who did they play? They played Arizona 33-27 and they escaped West Virginia. They barely escaped Colorado. Yeah, I think it's time. BYU takes the L and Utah pulls it out.
Bachmeier, but I think Utah has a good thing going over there. I can get on board with Utah winning that game. I wouldn't be surprised if BYU snuck it out, though. I'll be honest. And then last but not least, Cincinnati at Oklahoma State. I think Cincinnati wins it. They're looking good right now. I don't really care if they cover or not.
I think Cincinnati feels disrespected right now. I think they win big. Oklahoma State's one of the worst teams in college football right now, and I think they're going to prove it.
That's all the ranked games for us, bud.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Oh, the last game I'm going to throw it out there: Florida State at Stanford. I think Florida State bounces back. Sadly, I want Stanford to keep winning for our sake, but I think Florida State bounces back, takes the dub.
Has Stanford been winning? They have 2.
They're 2-4. Yeah, they look rough.
I don't think Navy plays this week, but keep it in the back of your mind, guys. Navy is another team that people weren't expecting to be ranked when we play them, but very possible because they're currently 6-0, and their only really, their only tough opponent they have left is North Texas, who's looked good, but they just got the doors blown off by South Florida. So
Yep.
Really like to see Navy keep winning. Like I said, I don't think they play this week. I think they're on a bye, so um,
Yeah. They
let's continue to
them
root for them.
dude, Navy's got a weird ending to that schedule there. North Texas, us, then South Florida, then Memphis.
We
Like
don't. We just need them to win against Florida Atlantic and North Texas, so they're like ranked 23rd when we play them. I
yeah,
mean, and
yeah,
I'm not being funny. That's just the nature
yeah.
of like this
Oh, for sure.
this playoff system is you need the ranked win, and it's everything counts on when the game happens. So if we went from possibly having no ranked wins on our schedule to now we're looking at we have currently USC's ranked 20th. We pop that out, that's a ranked win, and then in 2 weeks we play Navy. If Navy continues to win, I guarantee you, if Navy is 8-0 playing us, they're in the top 25, and
Yep.
they beat a decent
If
North
Pitt
Texas
is
team.
6-2, they'll be ranked.
And then we go to Pitt and say, let's see what Pitt's schedule looks like right now. Pitt has Syracuse. I think they handle them. They have NC State. That game could be interesting. NC State's pretty good. They'll handle Stanford. If they can get through that 3-game kind of weird gauntlet they got coming into us, we could run into a 7-2 Pitt Panthers team that will certainly be ranked at that point.
Uh, that Pitt game makes me very nervous. Coming off Navy week, our guys are going to be bruised, banged up, tired. I mean, that's a lot of running for our defense, and that's a potent offense. So
it's also a bye week. We have a bye week after Navy. So
no, we don't.
When's our bye week?
November 8th, November 5th. Our bye week's after USC.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and that's our last bye of the season.
Yeah. Boston College, we'll take them up. We were hoping we'd see a ranked Stephen Jelly, but it wasn't meant to be.
I know. It would have been fun.
But that's all I got, man. We ran through our picks. We spoke on the upcoming game and kind of the future, what it looks like for Notre Dame. I'm happy we went a long time. Maybe there's a way to cut this into 2 episodes. I don't, and we can release some. You'll look at that and hopefully we get things rolling. I'm excited. Spencer and I are both going to be at USC. Try to avoid the weather if we can. We'll take pictures and we'll post those up. Those will kind of be our first posts to our socials. I'm assuming on Instagram and maybe X. We've posted some on X, but maybe we can put a TikTok up of the light show or something just to be kind of fun. But it looks like this is how we're going to run our format a little bit on Twitch and then kind of upload to our different socials. But that's just the way it works best for us. And we're kind of maybe hoping we pull a different type of crowd on the Twitch scene, so that'd be fun.
If you're watching this back on YouTube after we've uploaded it, try to go and follow our socials, and we'll try and post like throughout the day before we go live so that you can kind of join us live and comment and interact with us. I would say for most part our shows are going to be pretty straightforward with what our script is. We've got to try and get our points off, but if some people are interested in watching live with us and commenting and interacting, then maybe we can have a show where it's a little bit more engaging and it's kind of like us going through our points, but then also talking with people as they chat with us. So if you're here on YouTube, thank you for being here. Make sure you guys go follow the rest of our socials, the Gold Rush Podcast. If you search that on pretty much any social, you'll find us. There might be some slight variance in the ats, but pretty much the same. But yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. Go Irish. Midseason, halfway through, 6 more games left. We're in the playoffs already. We're 4-2. Let's go 5-2 after this weekend and take it home. All right.
Absolutely.
Love it. We'll see you guys soon.